Need to know how many viewers we have. Somebody's here. Somebody's here. We're waiting for our Facebook fans. And I see 3 popping up. This is wonderful. Yep, it's Thursday. I bet everybody's out there walking around in the gorgeous weather we've got today. It's spectacular. We're still sitting here in Calgary at 12 degrees. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Colleen. Nice to see everybody coming in. There's Tina, all of our regulars. This is great. So yes, it's Thursday, kind of still middle of the week, but we're here to explore something a little bit different today. And today, I want to talk to everybody about a product called Kraft-Tex. You can see it sort of lined up here behind me. I'm going to grab the book because there is a book. Hold it up for you. I love holding books up, hey? So Kraft-Tex, if you haven't heard of it, also called vegan leather, is a paper product. But it is a paper product that they have treated in some fashion so that it behaves almost like leather. And if you've never worked with it, and I hadn't up until a little while ago, once you get started, it's amazing what you will discover that it will do for you. So I can show you a couple of things. This was a little fun staff project that we had. So this is Craftex, and it's lined. I just made a little notebook, haven't written anything in it, but kind of a cute little thing. And I had a few scraps, so we did a wallet like that, fully lined, and the instructions are in the book. You can see that. So yeah, it is really an interesting product to try and work with. I was working in black, but it comes in a multitude of colors, and it comes in 2 formats that we'll talk about. So the nice thing with Craftex, where's my list? You can cut Craftex with scissors. You can cut it with an X-Acto knife, which is what I did to get the decorative design on this thing, so the lining fabric shows through. You can cut it with your rotary cutter, of course. You can cut it with products like Scan and Cut. Cuts beautifully with that because it's a paper product. When it comes to sticking it together or making something with your Craftex, you can glue it because it's paper. You can use a fusible web on it, which is how we fastened the lining to our little wallet here. You can sew through it. It sews beautifully on a home sewing machine. I've tried hand stitching through it. It's a little tough. You may want to kind of pre-poke a few holes if you're doing a lot of that sort of thing. But yeah, it's very versatile. So I'm going to switch camera feeds here so you can have a look at this. There's the book, Kraft-Tex style. We can have a couple of other patterns, most often used for bags, pouches, what else? Camera strap. Yep. All kinds of ideas in the whole booklet. What I wanted to show you kind of close up here is this. This was my original black Craftex. Now, I don't know if you can tell on camera there, but one side is sort of dull and one side has a little bit more sheen to it. So the first thing I did with this, and I chose the unwashed Craftex to work with, and I got my little pail here. Craftex, even though it's made of paper, is a washable product. So here's a brown, kind of a gingerbready color, like that. You can see it's got a bit of a curl because it just came off the roll. Doesn't have much for texture on it. So the first thing you want to do with your Craftex like this is get it in some water. Give it a good massage in the water. You can soak it or you can dip it. Give it a shake. We'll shake it on the floor because, hey, we're on concrete, like that. And then you can start crumpling it. You scrunch it, you crumple it, and the more you work with it, even without soaking, the more you manipulate it, the more it's going to look and feel like a leather. This is why they call it vegan leather. You can already see how that's starting to take on a bit of the texture of a leather product. You can kind of massage it that way. Give it a little, and so it softens right up, makes it really, really easy to work with. Now, I wouldn't sew this wet. I would let it dry. You can press it with an iron, no problem. And then what I did with my black, because I kind of wanted that waxed leather look, is I literally waxed it. I took a piece of beeswax and rubbed it over the surface, hit it with the iron, put a little bit more on until I got the texture that I wanted on my Craftex. So you can see the difference just in that piece that was all stiff and curly, how soft and flexible that is. I can crumple that right up like that. So it's really kind of fun to work with, and there are a lot of things that you can make with it. Can you work it into your quilts? If you're working in mixed media, I don't see why not. I think you could easily find a use for that. So that's initially how you get started. You get your Craftex and you get it softened up. You give it that leathery look, and then you turn to a pattern or decide what you want to do with it. So there's the next question. Live, I don't know which there we are. Yeah, camera came back. Good. So the next question is, what do you want to do with it? Well, because we're kind of trying to stay in a bit of a Christmassy theme, I did the old Mr. Google thing and discovered that it makes wonderful Christmas decorations. And I think these are great little craft ideas that you can do with some of the younger people in your family, because it's a paper product, simple, easy to work with, and safe for children. So I've got a few little ideas here for you that you can share maybe with the kids or the grandkids, and have a little bit of fun that way. So I had this color, Craftex, to work with. This is what Dawn gave me out of her stash. So I went, all right, maybe we can make gingerbread ornaments. This is just one layer of Craftex. Now this, let's move my water out of the way. Switch you back here so you can see it up close. This is that same Craftex here, but this I didn't wash. It isn't treated. And so you can see the texture. It's almost like a piece of paper, which is what it is. So we just made a little ornament, poked a hole here, and what I have used on there is just a white paint, and I've used kind of a little dotty sort of a technique. The nice thing about the Craftex is you can color on it and you can paint on it. So I started with because I want this to look like gingerbread, started with my white pencil, and I marked some shapes on here just so that I could see what I was doing. So this is something you can get ready for the kids and then give them some paints to work with. There we go. That looks like a Christmas decoration. And what I'm using, there they are. So what I used on mine are the Helen Godden Lumiere paints. They have a bit of a glimmer to them. They're sort of a metallic range. And we also have, if you really like this gingerbread look, we carry the same paint in a larger size, a larger quantity. This is the pearlescent white. So that would be really, really fun. I'm going to make a bright ornament on this guy. And so I'm going to take this paint. Now the paint is thin enough that you literally can brush it on. See, there's the green brushed on. It's got a real sheen to it if you wanted to do something like that. But I kind of like this dotty effect. So I'm just going to put a little blob on a plastic surface. And working with my good old used plastic knitting needle, I can start just making dots of paint along those white lines. So this is something that the kids can do. You can have a quiet weekend afternoon together. Now if you have, those old puff paints at home, those would work as well. You can put acrylic paints on the surface, brush those on. my screen is beeping at me. I see Audrey. Hi Audrey, how you doing? So we can just make our dots like that. You know what I didn't grab? Oh, there's something. Ah. Forgot to grab myself a paper towel. So let's put some green on here. Isn't this fascinating? You can sit here while stuff cooks on the stove and watch people put dots of paint on brown paper. So it's kind of a different look, and you can put as much or as little on, and it's just a cute little kid's craft. And then of course when you're done, you just poke a hole in the top and thread a little piece of cord through, something nice and decorative. So you're saying, okay, well that's all really cute, but why would I want to use this stuff when I could just use brown paper? Well, the nice thing about the Craftex is its durability. Brown paper like this, tucked away with the Christmas decorations year after year, is gonna get a little bit worn looking, a little pre-loved. Whereas as you can see, the Craftex just gets better with age. It's sort of like us, eh? We get better with age. Even though the wrinkles start showing, it gives us that well-weathered look. So that's one thing you can do with the kitties and the Craftex. But as I said, it will take all sorts of other medium. So I didn't do up a sample with it, but it takes glue really well. So you can cut out your ornament shapes, and you can get out your sparkly rickrack, your sparkly ribbons. Your good old white craft glue is going to hold that down to the Craftex and sparkle that up really nicely. So, but because this is like a vegan leather, you can also stitch through it. So here's one of my other little one of my other ornaments that I was working on. So let's show you this guy. This was a first attempt at a gingerbread man, and the decoration on that was done with the sewing machine. So just a little bit of a satin stitch arrows on there, outlined it like that. So again, start off where you want your stitching with your colored pencil, go over it with your sewing machine. But now, what if you don't want to work flat? What if you want to build something? So I thought, well, let's see, what else do we make out of gingerbread this time of year? So I kind of got going with the sewing machine, and we got a little gingerbread house. Now, again, this is the unwashed Kraft-Tex, so it's still quite stiff. It's going to hold up nicely to three-dimensional objects. And all I did, where's the join? Join's right there. That started off as a flat piece of paper. Gotta love graph paper, don't you? I always start with graph paper. And figured out how I would do that. Once I got that ready and did a test run, yes, we always do a prototype to make sure it's going to work. Then I cut this out of my Craftex with a pair of scissors. Mark these lines very lightly, and it folds really nicely. Where's a good example? Here we go. The unwashed Craftex, if you want to give that a good crisp fold, you're just going to put your ruler or something firm along the edge, fold it over, crease it down, and it's enough to give you that line to work on right there. So you cut out your little house and then under the sewing machine. So I just kind of played around with stitches. This is the triple blanket stitch to make the shingles on the roof. I outlined doors and windows. I was kind of in a hurry because my real job was calling me, so not as neat as it could be. And then I took at each join here where you wanted it to fold, I literally just folded it and stitched a very narrow row of stitching along there to kind of hold those corners. Got that all folded up, ready to go. So the only thing left to do is take some thread and a hand needle and tack that down that way and put a little hanging cord on that one. Of course, you could jazz that up. You could use colored threads on it. It is kind of fun. So when I created the pattern, Audrey says, so cool. It is cool. It's a fun thing to work with. And Dawn says, I can tell people because it's a lot of work for us to actually produce a pattern. But if anybody's interested, we have a photocopier. So if you come into the store and you buy some Craftex and you ask me for this, I'll make you a photocopy. And then you can play around with it and put your own spin on the little gingerbread house. This first one I found, I think I like the roof without the extra stitching along the top. This one makes it just a little squinchy. So I love playing with three-dimensional objects out of unexpected materials like that. So that's the nice thing with working with a product like Craftex is it's not super expensive. We'll be looking forward for you, Billy. We'll be watching. I hope the girls up front are going to watch this broadcast before I get people at the counter going, but you said I could have a free pattern. Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow, so no problem. So you can see how much flexibility there is in something like this and how much fun you can have. Sometimes it's just nice to be crafty, and I kind of like the idea of doing bags, pouches, rotary cutter holders, eyeglass cases. We're getting to the point where it's almost down to the wire as far as creating your Christmas gifts. So we're starting to look for those simple things. You can make, that was another idea that I saw in the book. I don't know if it's shown or not. You can use Craftex decorated in any of the ways we've talked about. Make a bracelet. Make a cuff. Make a collar to hang around your neck, like a necklace. There's so many ideas. We really just don't have time to go into them all, but give it a try. Pick up, what have we got here? Whoa, come here. So this, let's not get paint on things we shouldn't here. Ha ha ha, there. This is a pre-washed multi-pack. It's got more of the natural colors, so chocolate stone, black, white, natural, and some ideas of what you can do with it. Stitch on it like that. Okay, it comes in also, what's Chelsea put out here, huh? Hand-dyed pre-washed. So you can see the crumply look to this. It's already been washed for you if you don't want to go through that scrunching process. This is a lovely mix of bright colors. That one, I might have to take one of those home with me. I like that one, and I can see making a variety of notebook covers, sunglass cases, little wallets, little pouches. Colleen's asking, would it work on a garment to stabilize a grommet hole? I would say, Colleen, it depends on how frequently that garment is going to go through the wash. I would like to say it would work, at least as a less permanent kind of fix. But I think in our vast array of actual fabric stabilizers, there's going to be something that is going to work a little bit better for you. What I might recommend is popping into the store. You can always feel the Craftex. It does come by the meter as well, so you can always buy a small sample and take it home and test it. But talk to the girls up front, talk to the girls who do the machine embroidery, and ask their opinion on whether it's going to stabilize enough or not going to wear out on a garment. A substitute for cork, yes, definitely. It has very much the same texture as our cork fabric, and it can be mixed in. You can make a bag mixing some of the Craftex and our cork fabric with the gold leaf on it. It would go beautifully together. Yes, so definitely it would work on that. Hi, Chelsea. Chelsea's getting ready for the exciting day we have tomorrow. What do we got coming up tomorrow, Chelsea?
Kimberbell a la carte and Black Friday.
Kimberbell a la carte, Black Friday. Do check our newsletter for some of those Black Friday savings coming up. It's a good time. We borrowed it from our neighbors to the south, but it's really taken off here, having those Black Friday specials. Gotta love those specials. So that's about all I can tell you right now about this stuff. I think it's one of those things that you want to buy a little bit, give it a try, and then you're going to go, oh, I kind of liked how that worked. Maybe I'll buy a little bit more and give it another try. So that's Craftex. And fun project for all ages. Lots of things you can do with it. Lots of possibilities. Just let your imagination take over. So that's it for me this week. I will be back, of course, Tuesday. We'll see what other fun things we can come up with. And I kind of think we have a mystery guest tomorrow for Facebook. And that's all I'm going to say about that one. So drop by the store, say hi to everybody, stock up on your Black Friday savings, and I would be happy to talk to anybody who wants to stick their head in the long arm area and say hello. Until then, have a great evening, everybody. Enjoy the nice weather and drive safely if you're out